Welcome to Flowly. I want to take you through this user interface really quickly to show you how the product works and how you can get the best results out of your campaigns. So from this screen, there's a couple of things you can do. Start a new campaign. You can check out your campaign manager if you already have a few running and you just want to go straight to your results. Or you can go up to the top right corner here. You can access a little menu that takes you to your dashboard, your Twitter timeline, and help tips. Help tips is what disables and enables this video that you're seeing currently. Later on, if you get stuck, simply come back up here, click on help tips, and this video will come back up. We also have a few slider images here of just tips and information that's useful for you to get the most out of Flowly. On the bottom here, I have some statistics that are currently all zero because I've never used this account before. But as you go through the process and as you use Flowly, these numbers will increase: replies, retweets, favorites, all this information we get from Twitter to show you how your accounts are doing on Flowly. So what I'm going to do first is go to my dashboard. From here, please add your email and contact information so that we can update you with features. Your email is also used to inform you of when your campaigns have ended. Change your subscription plan to upgrade or downgrade your account at any given time. And if you have a promo code, simply paste it in the field above. This promo code field will not be visible until you've actually logged in with Twitter. So if you don't see this, just log in with Twitter, come back here and you'll be able to add your promo code. You'll notice that when you do that, these fields at the bottom here will turn green, and then just follow whichever applies to you. If I go back to my dashboard, you can also connect your Bitly account. Bitly is a very popular link shortening tool that some of you may already be familiar with. So if you don't have an account, just go over to bitly.com, create a free account, click on connect to my Bitly account, and it will just allow you to attach that account to Flowly. Once it's attached, you'll be able to shorten all your links in real time as you paste them into the messenger, which I'll show you here shortly. So click on update account, make sure your information is saved, then go back to the first page. From here, let's go right into start a new campaign. So what is a campaign on Flowly? Basically, it's a category. In this case, I'm going to do some tweets about design news and also some tweets about my own stuff. And I'm just going to copy and paste some information here to save time. But really, it's categories. So if I wanted to tweet something about specifically news, I can have one campaign that's sending out information about links I saw on the internet. I can have another campaign that sends out news about potentially a gallery coming up. I can do another campaign about portfolio work I just released that I want people to see. And I can run all those campaigns in parallel with each other on Flowly. The description is handy if you have a lot of people working on the same campaign. That way you can inform your team of which campaign is related to what. So in this case, I'm just going to paste the same info. On the next line, I can set my timeline for how long I want this campaign to be active on Flowly. So I'm going to just keep this on 1 hour for now. Defaults to 1 hour. My tweets will automatically delete after 58 minutes. So I'm going to leave this to default. You can play around with this as well later. If you click no, it just means your tweets will stay on Twitter forever. And if you do check no, we highly recommend that you don't repeat your tweets. That will become extremely annoying for your followers. So only repeat tweets on Flowly if yes is enabled. Further down, we have just the schedule on which days you actually wanted to run it. So I always like to send my tweets on Monday to Friday, and then the time stop time here is purely related to your time zone as well. I can, for example, leave this year and I can say run my campaign if I wanted to East Coast time, and then it will actually start 6 a.m. in New York and run. So very handy if you're a social media manager and you want your campaigns to be visible in other cities during those working hours. Then you can take a campaign, you can duplicate that campaign, come back here, change your time zone, and then run that campaign in that time zone. So you can have different campaigns for different time zones. In this case, I'm just going to leave it on Los Angeles. I'm going to go down to the bottom here and click on compose. So this is where all the magic happens on Flowly. This is the most important aspect of the platform, where you control all the good things. So I already have a few tweets here on the side that I'm just going to copy in because I just want to save time again. This campaign is about my design news. So as soon as I add my text, it will count the characters, very much like Twitter. As you know, you're limited to 140 characters. If I add my image, I'm just going to choose a random JPEG here that I can add. It will increase. When you hit 140, this will turn red, which means you're just over the limit and it won't send. It will actually get an error message and Flowly it won't send. So at this point, I definitely want to add some hashtags. And one way to do that is to go to writetag.com. You'll see this when you create a new message. We have also in our tips up here some information about how to get better at hashtags. But if you go to writetag.com, you can enter hashtags there to get real-time feedback about how many potential views you can get on those hashtags. So in here, I'm just going to say, for example, art a hashtag. I'm going to go and make design a hashtag. And I'm going to make topography a hashtag, and maybe even 3D. Integrate that into your sentence like that. And when this goes out, it will just send out the image. You can also attach MP4 videos and or YouTube videos by simply pasting YouTube link in here. If you do that, the videos will actually play in the timeline of Twitter when these messages go out onto Twitter. Great, so now if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that my summary actually updated. It shows that I have one tweet. It shows that I'm going to have 1 hour between tweets because I only have one tweet, right? So if I go back up the top here, there's a little section right below this tweet where I can repeat this. So I can actually say, repeat this tweet twice for me and keep repeating that tweet until it actually achieves, let's say, 2 likes and 2 retweets. So this is handy. The more followers you have, the higher this number should be, because chances are likely that you'll probably achieve that goal quickly. If you have a new account, you could just set it to 1-1. And the moment you reach this goal, this tweet will actually stop sending. So if you want to get crazy, you can actually make this a 10-10-10, which means the tweet will most probably repeat 10 times. And then after the 10th time, it will stop sending. And you can play around with this. We highly recommend you look at your existing likes and retweets on your Twitter timeline and then adjust that based on how your Twitter profile is currently doing. Now, because I've changed those values, this also changed. I now have 3 tweets on Twitter. Basically, the way it works is it takes 1 unique message plus 2 repeats, and it will now be sending a tweet every 20 minutes on Twitter. So let me add a second message here and put some more copy in. Okay, so I want my next tweet to just be about some news. I'm just going to paste a link in here. I'm a big fan of this website, Creative Blog. So here's an article that I thought was pretty interesting about brands and how to make brands beautiful. If I scroll down here, there's some images on here I can use. So I'm just going to take this image, drag and drop it out onto my desktop and use that. And I have some copy here already that I'm going to use for this article. I'm going to copy it out, put it back into my Flowly, and click on Add Replace. Go to my desktop real quick and add that graphic that I just had, right? Now I'm going to go back to this URL, select the long URL, which will take up a lot of space on Twitter if I didn't have my Bitly connected. But now paste it in here once, press the space bar, and it will automatically shorten it for me into a really friendly Twitter URL. Again, I can come in here and add my hashtags, which is highly suggested. Without the hashtags, your tweets will never find anyone on Twitter. So definitely add hashtags to your tweets, especially if you have a new account. You can't expect anybody to know about these tweets unless you put hashtags in them and end up in this Twitter search engine. So I'm going to give this one 2 tweets. I'm going to leave it at 1-1, and I'm going to add another message real quick. This next one is just, again, about something I did. Let me grab an attachment for this one. And then let's add one more message, a news article from Creative Blog. Paste this link. This one is about responsive design. I'm going to drag this image out to my desktop, grab the URL, go back to Flowly, paste the URL, spacebar, we'll shorten it. And then I'm going to add my custom text that I already created for this tweet. Just put it at the beginning. So this one went over. I have 145 characters here, as you can see. So I'm going to remove some information here. Just take those out. Let's hashtag the word devices. Make sure your hashtag words are actually relevant to what you're saying in this case. If you really want to, you can go to at the end here and just put random hashtags. There you go. Choose my next image, go back to the desktop, grab that one. This one is too long because I just added another image. I'm way over. So let me change this one. Take out those words. So here we go. So at the bottom here, you can see my campaign summary is again updated. Now I only have 7 minutes between tweets, which is a little aggressive. You don't really want to do that. In fact, I actually want to repeat this one 4 times. I want to repeat this one 4 times. I'm going to get that one 3 likes. Actually, yeah, 3 likes, and I'm going to make this one get 2 likes and 2. So, okay, what do we got? 16 messages all of a sudden. And I've got 3 minutes between tweets, which is way aggressive. So I'm not going to send this message, this campaign out like this. Just want to check everything real quick, make sure it's correct, come down to the bottom, and then say put on hold. You'll also notice I have randomize enabled by default. So when I send this campaign out eventually, these messages will not necessarily send 1 to 4. It might be 3, 4, 1, 2. So it's totally random. In some cases, if you want to do an event, you may want to uncheck randomize and make sure they actually go out in a sequential order that potentially could lead up to an event that's happening in a few days. So here I'm just going to go put on hold, and this campaign will now not send. It will just upload all the data to the cloud. It will leave it there for me. I can now have my teammates come in. They can log in with the same Twitter account from a different location, come in, look at what was done, hover here, click on edit, and they can come in and actually change this information that's not yet live on Twitter. They can change the attachments, they can edit the copy, they can add more hashtags. Really, the sky's the limit. It's very cool how you can collaborate with people to get the most out of Twitter here. And this time I have the reverse experience. So now I'm in my timeline here. I can actually go into save and reschedule, which will show you my first screen that I initially had. So in here, obviously 1 hour, 3 minutes between tweets, that's not good. So I'm going to take this up and actually make it 1 hour and 1 day. Now if I do that, all of a sudden I've got 1.6 hours between my tweets, which is a little better, but in some cases might still be a little aggressive. So I can, let's say, do it over 3 days. So all of a sudden, I just created a bunch of tweets that's going to be sending out over Twitter in 3 days in a matter of 5 minutes. The video you're watching here has gotten a little long, but you can see while I was talking here what I was able to do in a very short time frame to give myself enough tweets for the next 3 days on Twitter. So you can imagine how powerful this gets if you have a bunch of campaigns running over several weeks and how your Twitter activity will increase over time. This time I'm going to click on send messages now, and it will actually go and it will send the first message right away. I can verify that by going up to the top right corner and clicking on my Twitter timeline, which will show that tweet that just went out onto Twitter. And all I have to do now is wait. So I'm going to go back to my Flowly app. From here, I can actually duplicate this campaign. Early on in this video, I mentioned the fact that you can share this in different time zones. So I could actually go duplicate this campaign. It will show up here, and we will add the word duplicate to the end of it. It will go into pause mode by default. So what I want to do is click and edit. I can make more changes. I can potentially change my attachments. I can mix words around real quick. I can add new hashtags. I can change my goals with the tweets and the repeats of how I want that to be. And let's click on put on hold again. Share with my team, have them log in if they want to. Save and reschedule. And then here I can change my time zone to a different country, and I can run those 2 campaigns in tandem with each other. So let me not do this for now. Let me go back to the campaign manager and show you one last thing. In fact, I'm going to delete this campaign because I'm probably not going to run it. So over here on the far right, I have an export feature. This will actually allow me to download a CSV that allows me to look at my tweets in Excel and really see how each one of those tweets are doing. Another thing I want to point out on Twitter, if you haven't already done it, make sure you activate your analytics. And you want to do that by going to analytics.twitter.com. And from here, you'll be able to actually activate it. Mine's already activated. And you can go in and look at your tweet activity of how your tweets are doing on Twitter. And chances are you'll probably see a significant increase on your tweets over the next few weeks. We hope you enjoy this product. Definitely email us. Let us know what you think. Thank you very much for joining.